Hello and welcome again to another episode of the Long Gone Loser Rock Show. Today we're going to talk about Hanoi Rocks.
Hello, people, will you welcome Hanoi Rocks? Let's go!
Hanoi Rocks were a kick-ass band from Finland. I discovered Hanoi Rocks many years ago when the hair metal thing was happening, but they weren't really huge in Australia the way that I remembered them. Like, they were a band that you actually had to search out for. They weren't getting tons and tons of mainstream press in the metal magazines that we used to find here. And over the years, Hanoi Rocks were a band that, I became more into as time went on. Like, even though I started getting into, different styles of music, and I was really into the Australian music scene, and also just falling really hard into the pop punk thing, and or just punk rock in general. I think it was maybe around, when the helicopters started blowing up, that I started really appreciating Hanoi Rocks, because the Scandinavian rock scene was on blast, and everybody was focused on that that movement, I should say. They were defunct by that point and then got back together. The Scandinavian rock scene was something that I just really fell for, and while I was listening to Green Day and the pop punk stuff, Blink 182 and NoFX, all that sort of stuff, Lagwagons, and all those bands. While I was really into all that stuff, I was also into the Scandinavian rock invasion as well. Well, pretty much just anything really. I just love music, but I became fixated on that Scandinavian rock scene. The Helicopters, Hardcore Superstar, Backyard Babies, Hanoi Rocks, all that stuff. But then also the smaller bands as well that were blowing up at that time, the Hives, and, although they ended up taking over big time, and still to this day they're crushing it. But like, what I mean? Like, that Scandinavian rock scene became a huge fascination for me. And so when I got into Hanoi Rocks, I just started like wanting to buy everything that I could find. The first record I ever found of Hanoi Rocks was Two Steps from the Move. Now, I found this at Go Records here in Melbourne. Now, I'd come over to Melbourne all the time, and I would always go record shopping at Go. Like, that was just one thing that we did. Go Records used to be in Little Bourke Street in the city. There's a photo of it here. And that store was 2 floors of awesomeness. And it's, one store I do miss, because I would always go into Go Records and I'd look at the, the spindle of new 7-inches looking for meanie singles, because I was really into the meanies, and I knew that Go was like the home of the meanies. So I'd always go in there looking for meanie singles. And then after that, it was like go upstairs and, scour the used records. And that's when I found Two Steps from the Move for like $10. I love this record. I think a lot of people probably hail this as like their greatest moment, because it's probably the album with the best production on it, compared to all the others. But there's the label. Up Around the Bend, it opens up with the old classic. It's a great cover. I think that they just really, really captured something there. And also, you've got Bob Ezrin producing it, which probably helped in a way. Like, it is the opener of the album, but it's also a song that when you hear it, their version of it is so fucking good. It beats the original by all means. I mean, I've always liked the song, but this version is so freaking good. And then you've got songs like High School, which is a fantastic song. That is, yeah, a mind-blowing track. Yeah, it's just awesome. But then they've got the ballad "Don't You Ever Leave Me." Now, that song, I always liked the song, but it didn't really, like, it wasn't, when you think of power ballads and stuff like that, that song wasn't one that I would put in the top 10, by any means at the time. And then when Hardcore Superstar covered it, it really made me just really appreciate the song. And I went back and listened to it and was like, you know what, this is a fucking great song. What the hell am I doing? And there's 2 versions of Don't You Ever Leave Me that I know of that were recorded. There's this version and the previous version. The previous version has this like really bizarre talking bits. I think they're done by Andy McCoy, and they're just so strange. But what the Hardcore Superstar version is that they took parts from both versions of the Hanoi Rocks recorded ones and put them together to make their version. And it's really, really cool the way they did it. And yeah, I love their version as well. But it's a really, really good song. They also have a song in here called Futurama, years before the TV show ever happened.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
A Million Miles Away, great. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, absolute classic. And yeah, awesome record. Two Steps from the Move. If you don't know it, give it a whirl. It's awesome. Here's some 7-inches I have. I have the Malibu Beach 7-inch that has Rebel on the Run on the flip side. I have this previous unreleased I Can't Get It demo and Teenage Revolution demo 7-inch, which came with the Hanoi Rocks book, which weighs a ton. So if you bought this book when it came out, it came with this 7-inch. And this book, it's heavy. It's a great book too. So if you are interested, it's filled with like stuff. It's awesome. From memory, it's on blue vinyl. There you go. And has this little liner notes thing there. Maybe it still comes with the 7-inch. I have no idea. This book came out a long time ago. Hanoi Rocks Until I Get You with Tragedy on the flip side. Tragedy is a great song. And this double 7-inch of Up Around the Bend with Until I Get You live at the Marquee, Under My Wheels, and I Feel Alright, and the Train Kept a Rolling. So there we go. There is the gatefold sleeve for that. And there is the back cover there. So very, very cool. I found on most of my Hanoi Rock stuff I found actually in Japan, because they were huge in Japan, and so therefore their records are a lot easier to find in Japan. So I got this one in 2019 when I went to Japan, which is like a best of, which is pretty cool. I always get the title of this one messed up, so I'm going to read it to say it properly. Bangkok Shocks, Saigon Shakes, Hanoi Rocks. There you go. I finally got it right. But this album is fantastic too. This is Tragedy on it. And this has the old version of Don't Never Leave Me. And then, yeah, lots of good songs in this one. Really good record. This is the live album, All Those Wasted Years. This is a fantastic live record. And then you've got this one, Dead by Christmas, which I got in Japan. It's a double LP. So it has all these songs on it here, which is cool. There you go. Underwater World with Oil and Gasoline, Shakes and Magic Carpet Ride. Japanese pressing with the obi. There's the back cover there. Oriental Beat. This one's cool. There's the back cover with some painted boobs. So there you go. And why not? Back to Mystery City. This album rules. Back to Mystery City is such a good song. There's Self-Destruction Blues. And there you go. There's a track listing there. Now, I have this here, which is... I've got a few of them, actually. It's a flyer advertising the album Street Poetry. And they did a tour for this record. And I actually went to that tour and saw Hanoi Rocks twice. But I had to see them in Japan because they weren't going to come to Australia. 12 Shots on the Rocks. I got these all in Japan because that's where I could find them. Another Hostile Takeover. There you go. 12 Shots on the Rocks again, but this one's in a slipcase thing. It's got some bonus tracks. Or was it one bonus track? Yeah, bonus track for Japan. Check out the girl. There you go. And here is a box set, Hanoi Roxy albums, which basically has Bangkok Shocks, Saigon Shakes, Hanoi Rocks, Self-Destruction Blues, All Those Wasted Years, Oriental Beat, Back to Mystery City, and Two Sets on the Move on CD box set. I got this in Japan. It was like 300 yen. So I grabbed it, which is like $4. Here is Street Poetry, the box set. I really like this album. It's hugely underrated. Here is the CD itself. I really like the singles of this. Like Fashion is such a good song. If you don't know the song Fashion, Fashion is a really, really solid song. It has Connie Bloom on guitar on it, who was also in Silver Ginger 5 and also in Electric Boys. But yeah, his guitar work on this is fantastic. So you got Andy McCoy and Connie Bloom together. What a great combination of players. So yeah, awesome stuff. And this has bonus tracks, Self-Destruction Blues and World Shaker. There you go. And it came with a bandana, which I've never ever opened up because I don't really wear bandanas. But yeah, designed by Andy McCoy. I saw Hanoi Rocks twice at the '07 Loud Park and the club show that they did. And I must say, one of the things that I love about Japan club shows is that if you're the very first person to buy a ticket for a gig, you are first in line. That's how it works. So you line up, you find out what number everybody is, and you get in behind that person. And they're so polite about it, and they do it. And nobody, pushes or tries to get in or anything like that. The Japanese people, no, that's not what they do. And I think that's amazing. If you're the first person to get ticket number one, you deserve to be in the door number one. And yeah, it's awesome that they do that. So yeah, I went there and I can't remember what my ticket was. I don't even have the ticket stub, which is surprising. But yeah, I just remembered lining up that way. What else we got here? Okay, we've got a bunch of Michael Monroe solo CDs. We have Peace of Mind. Here, I got all these in Japan as well. Life Gets You Dirty. Nights are So Long. And What You Want. He does a great cover of Do Anything You Want to Do by Eddie and the Hot Rods on here. Really, really awesome. And does a cover of What Love Is, the Dead Boys as well. A lot of good songs on this one. And I also have Demolition 23's CD. And the Jerusalem Slim album, which I got in Japan as well. With Michael Monroe solo projects on vinyl, I have a couple. I have this one here, which is a deluxe edition of Sensory Overdrive with Ginger from the Wild Hearts on guitar. And this album rules. Like, if you have not heard Sensory Overdrive by Michael Monroe and you like rock and roll music, or rock music, hard rock music, whatever, if you don't own this, you're doing your ears a great disservice. This is one of the greatest hard rock records ever. Like, it really is. Sensory Overdrive is amazing. It also features Lucinda Williams and Lemmy. Lemmy is on this record. So there you go. If you are a Motorhead completist and you don't have this, well, you're, again, missing out. You need this album. This album is phenomenal. Here is the album One Man Gang. This has the song Last Train to Tokyo on it, which I love that song so much. And I'm always singing that when I'm in Japan. Like, no matter where I'm going on my own on the train, I'm always just singing like, I'm on the last train back to Tokyo. Such a good song. Here is the gatefold sleeve. This has Rich Jones on it, who was in the Yo-Yos. He was also in Amen. He was also in... What's the other band he was in? The Loyalties. Yeah, there you go. He was also in the Loyalties. Steve Conte, who was in the New York Dolls. He's in it. Obviously, Sammy Affa. Forgotten where the drummer was from. What band he was in beforehand, and I apologize for that. But awesome. Love this record. Not Faking It. Not Faking It is such a good album. Like, amazingly good album. Like, it opens up with Dead Jowl of Rock and Roll, which, if you've seen the video for it, has Mr. Axl Rose dancing around in the video with him. Like, this album is just flawless from start to finish. I really like that While You Were Looking at Me, that dun 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 dun. It's so good. The playing on this is so good. All Night with the Lights On, Not Faking It. What a great title track. This album, Man with No Eyes, like, oh my God. If you don't know this record, man, you need to. This album is so good. And you can find it cheap everywhere. Like, I think I bought mine for like $6 from Big Star Records in the basement in Adelaide way back in the day. I'm sure it hasn't gone up much because they sold a lot of copies of this album. So, yeah, you need this record. Trust me. And the last one I'm going to show you is the reissue that happened for the first time on vinyl of Demolition 23. Demolition 23 finally came out on record. And yeah, awesome. Finally. I wonder if that means the Jerusalem Slim album is going to get a vinyl reissue. Street Poetry should get a vinyl reissue because that has never come out on vinyl, and that should come out. All of his solo albums should all come out on vinyl. A lot of them haven't, and they still should. Like What You Want, I'd love to have that on record. That's a great album. And some of those other later day Hanoi Rocks records, like Another Hostile Takeover and 12 Shots on the Rocks, none of those came out on record, so they should put them out on vinyl. Someone should do it. I'm looking at you, Japan. So anyway, that is my Hanoi Rocks record collection. I love the band and I love all the albums that are attached to it. It's all awesome. It's all great and I highly recommend you check it out. Yeah, go buy some records. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.